Do you use drugs, Miss Trammell?
Sometimes.
You ever use drugs with Mr. Boz?
Sure.
What kind of drugs?
Cocaine? Have you ever fucked on cocaine, Nick?
Welcome back to Remembering the Razzies.
Hello!
Today we watched Basic Instinct 2, Risk Addiction.
I didn't know the subtitle.
Oh, don't worry, because they say it like 4 times in the movie.
Thank God.
I believe Mr. Trammell's behavior is driven by what we might call a risk addiction.
Risk addiction.
I kill because I'm addicted to risk.
This movie is bad.
It is bad.
This is a sequel to a 1992 erotic mystery film starring Sharon Stone, and I think Michael Douglas is in it.
And this is an erotic mystery film starring Sharon Stone and not Michael Douglas.
But this time, it's in London. Jacob and I were getting pizza before we watched this movie, and we talked, and we were like, yeah, neither of us have seen the first Basic Instinct. So we read the plot synopsis, and then we watched this movie, and it's basically the same movie.
It almost exactly is the same movie. You can pretty much read the plot synopsis for the first one, and you're like, okay, I've seen both.
Yeah. Sharon Stone plays Catherine Trammell. She's an author who also has a risk addiction. She just kind of goes off and kills people and has sex and gets away with it. And frames it on others.
Yeah, because despite it very obviously being heard the whole time killing people are like, yeah, but what if it wasn't? And also I can change her because I think she did it, but...
Listen, the main detective was recently divorced, so he's down pretty bad.
Yeah.
He really wants to get some, and that involves helping a murderer and getting framed himself in the end.
He doesn't even really help her. She just kind of, like, she fucks with his mind the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then in the end, frames him for everything.
And then in the end, she, like, tries to pull out some, like, oh, but this is the reason why I was always after you. And Jacob and I were just like...
It's just genuinely confusing. Like, we know that she did it, but then they try to do, like, some sort of, like, Saw-type plot twist where they're like, the whole time it wasn't me. But then, like, 5 minutes later, she's like, hey, just kidding about that. It really is me. Fuck you.
That part was funny. The rest of the movie was really boring.
Yeah, honestly, it's really boring. I guess it's just because, like, I know that she's the one doing it, and so there's no mystery for the audience watching it.
Mm-hmm.
It really is just the therapist who does not know it's her. And so the whole movie, instead of being like, oh, I wonder who's doing it, you're like, dude, figure it out. Like, please. Even in universe, everyone knows it's her.
Oh, yeah.
He is the only one who's like, I don't know. I kind of want to see her vagina first before we, like, accuse her. It's not the worst movie we've seen, but it's definitely poorly written.
I think the screenplay itself and the fact that it's trying to live up to the hype of the first one.
Yeah.
Which, according to the plot synopsis that we read, the first one is really big for being, like, a first mainstream Hollywood movie to be open to, like, bisexuality and just... in general, sexuality in film.
Right.
Whereas this one doesn't have any of that.
Knowing what happens in the first one made this one worse. I think if I didn't see the first one first, I would have enjoyed this more. From what I can tell with the plot on the first one, it seems like people don't really know it's her in the first one. Like, it's kind of vague whether or not she's actually the one doing it.
Yeah.
But this one, the first scene, you straight up see her kill someone, and then the movie continues, and pretends like, oh, but what if she didn't? So, I don't know, it's just
stupid.
It really is dumb.
I don't have a lot to say.
No, I guess, like, hey, here's a funny clip where they do something funny.
Did they do something funny?
No, but they say a lot of cliches, and I kind of chuckled.
The one time I laughed is when they said the words Basic Instinct.
What'd you write about? Oh, the lurid, the sexual, the violent, the basic instincts.
Do you want to talk about what it was nominated for?
I'd love to.
This was nominated for 7 awards, and it won 4. Worst Prequel or Sequel, Worst Screenplay, Worst Actress, and Worst Picture. Worst Prequel or Sequel? Judging from the plot synopsis I read on Wikipedia, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah. I guess the one thing you could say about this is it's very faithful to the original, because it's just the same movie.
It's just the same movie, yeah. Without any of the groundbreaking stuff. Yeah,
ground's already broken. You're just digging the same hole.
I think the Wikipedia paragraphs were more well written than this movie was. The first movie seemed a lot more complex, and again, it was a groundbreaking movie for the early 90s, whereas this one, again, was just murder mystery with sex. And the murder mystery didn't even make sense, so what's even the point?
Yeah,
and that's gonna steamroll us right into worst screenplay.
It's very poorly written. The dialogue sucks. I wouldn't say the plot overall is confusing. I think it was pretty easy to follow, but when it hits the end and they just like try to brute force a twist really quick, it doesn't work.
Worst actress for Sharon Stone.
I don't know if she was bad. It's definitely poorly written.
Yeah.
I was convinced of her character.
I was too.
I think she was a worse actress in Catwoman, for sure.
100%.
Whereas this, like, it seemed very natural and confident. The role sucks, it was written poorly, but, like, she was doing a good job. I think in a better written movie, like, she could be, like, a good psychopathic killer type character. I think she could play it very well.
Sure she was in the first one.
Yeah, because she's the same character doing the same stuff.
Yeah. I think they just wanted somebody to, because she's iconic in the first one, they wanted to pile all this award onto her. Because it's like, oh, this is your movie franchise.
Bye.
Fuck you. Yeah. I wonder who she was nominated against. Hilary Duff, Lindsay Lohan, Christina Luck, and Jessica Simpson. So, you know, a stacked year for bad performances.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a toss-up, really. Like, they are probably worse, but I haven't seen them in anything.
So, yeah, we can't really say. And then Worst Picture. So this was nominated against The Wicker Man, Little Man, Lady in the Water, and Blood Rain.
So what have you seen out of those?
I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah.
I've heard Lady in the Water is bad.
Yeah.
I remember very, like, slightly when Little Man came out that people hated it. And then The Wicker Man,
it's iconic.
I've heard. Yeah.
Like we said, this isn't the worst movie that we've seen, for sure. I just think that this was poorly written and didn't need to be made, 14 years after the original came out?
Yeah.
It's not like it was riding the coattails of the first one.
Yeah.
Because
it was like 14 years later.
Yeah, a new generation of humans had started by the time this one came out. I'm not going to remember this movie.
No, I'm not either.
In any way.
I already forgot.
Yeah.
What do we watch, Jacob?
I don't know. Let's rank whatever we watch, though.
Okay.
I have nothing to say about it.
Best Made. This is such a basic fucking movie.
Yeah. Instantly I was like, oh, well, it's better than Gigli, but...
But is it?
Is it? I would say it's probably on the same level as Gigli. I just don't know if I would put it above or below.
At least Gigli's plot made sense.
Yeah.
But even...
Yeah. Can we tie it with Gigli?
I'll tie it with Gigli.
Yeah,
why not? Should I do the whole title?
Yeah, you should do the whole title. Risk Addiction. So stupid.
Such a stupid
Most
title.
entertaining.
It's pretty low.
Yeah, it's pretty low for me.
I think like I had a bunch of energy going into it, then the movie just slowly sucked it down.
Yeah, I think if it was shorter, it might have been better.
It does remind me of Gigli in the aspect that I was bored as hell watching both movies.
Yeah. Honestly, tie it again. I don't give a shit. It's such an inconsequential film.
I know.
Like Gigli was definitely boring and pointless, but like this literally did not have to be made. I'm not gonna tell anyone about this movie. I'm gonna be like, hey, have you seen Basic Instinct 2: Risk Addiction? And they're gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry. I'll have the number 3 with Coke, please.
How do you wrap up this episode?
I don't know, man. What are we watching next week?
Next week we are watching a 2007 psychological thriller starring Queen Lindsay Lohan.
Queen, yes.
I Know Who Killed Me.
I mean, I'm excited. I like horror. This was Lindsay Lohan in her prime, I think.
Yeah.
When did Herbie come out?
2007.
Herbie was her prime.
Herbie Prime.
Yeah.
Herbie Prime.
Oh, it's foreshadowing.
Yeah, join us next time.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Did you see my butthole?